Hey everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last build, we went sci-fi when we built the big giant District 9 blaster. And if you missed that build, we're going to include the link in the description below to our channel's homepage so you can go over there and check out District 9 blaster or any of the other cool builds we have there. But for this build, we're actually going to stay sci-fi. So without further ado, Black Sheep Props would like to introduce you to the newest member of the family. Yeah, you know what it is. It's Han Solo's NN-14. No, it's not Rey's NN-14, it's Han's NN-14 that he lent Rey. So there. Look at that thing, man. Super jammin'. Dirty, metal, and really simple and really fun. Check that thing out. All kinds of cool grooves in there and little recesses. We got the barrel vents on there. This thing is classic and totally easy, like everything we do. So in this episode, making an EVA foam NN-14 Part 1, we're going to begin going step by step through how to make it, and it's super easy. And we have a template for this thing, so if you want to build along, we'll include the link in the description below to our storefront, so you can go pick up a template if you want, and you can build along with us. So if you're ready to hit it, let's make something. Alright, we're going to start creating our center body piece to our blaster, and we're going to be layering up some foam. We have a 24, a 6, and a 3 millimeter because we want to get roughly 1 3/8 inches thick, which is what that is right there. So we're going to stick these all together first. Alright, you know the drill. Give it a few minutes, let both sides dry, and then it can make contact. Alright, there we go. That's what we wanted. That's going to make up the bulk of our body. And we're going to be coming in and we're going to be adding part of a 36 millimeter foam dowel to it. But what we're going to do first is we're going to go over to the bandsaw and we're going to knock these out real quick. Alright, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. And you could have done this with our box cutter. Alright, you can totally do this with a box cutter. Just make sure your knife is straight, don't tip it, and cut through. You can easily do that. But if you have a bandsaw, you're guaranteed it's going to be a 90-degree side. Alright, now we're going to come in with this 36 millimeter foam dowel. And we have our lines marked here and here. And this is going to be used for two different pieces of the blaster. This is going to be for our barrel right here. It's going to go along with this piece. So we're going to knock those two marks out on the bandsaw now. Alright, there we go. There's our barrel piece. Notice it's the exact same length as this piece because we're going to be using parts of it for our body. And what we're going to do is we are going to come in and we are going to cut this in half. Alright, now we're going to make some marks so we know we're cutting right down the middle. Alright, there we go. We drew our mark, center, and we continued it right down the dowel. So now we're going to knock that off on the bandsaw real quick. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Now, look at this. These are going to go on both sides, and look what we just created. We created that cool shape for the body. This dowel is a hair longer than this piece, but when we stick it down, we'll muscle it in and it'll fit perfectly. All right, so let's do that. All right, there we go. We're going to go one side at a time. All right, now what we're going to do is this. We're going to lay this down flush on the edge, okay? Now we don't want the other side to touch down. We're going to line our edge up all the way down. Right, there we go. We've got a perfectly flush edge right there. Now we're going to come around to this side. Now because this is a tiny bit longer than we want, we're going to squeeze this in like that. There we go. Now we're going to pinch it in every step of the way, just like that, so that our dowel is the perfect width of our foam body piece. And we're going to muscle it in. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Now, we're very smooth right here and right here. And we're going to do the same thing now on this side. Perfect. Now you just keep forcing it into place right there so that it's exactly what we want. Right there, and now we're going to come to the end and we're going to do it right at the corner, just like that. All right, there you go. See that? And it's the number one thing we say. Well, not the number one thing, but one of the number one things is don't just drop a piece down. Even though your measurement is pretty darn close, you gotta keep one side of it up while you get the one side down. You gotta match up on this edge and on the end. So now look at that. That's almost perfect. Right there. This piece is going to wrap around this piece, okay? All right, but now we're gonna do some detail work on here. We're gonna cut out some windows, and we're gonna get out one of our favorite tools, which is the wood burner. And we're gonna burn in some cool details here. So let's get this plugged in, get it scorching hot, and go for it. All right, there we go. We've got our 3 spots cut out. Super easy. You saw that we didn't even use a straight edge. We just used our freehand, and it wasn't that hard. Nice and clean. All right, now, here we go. Now our wood burner, let's make sure it's hot enough. Oh, holy smokes, it sure is hot. Now listen, be careful with this thing because this thing is hotter than Venus, man. If you're not careful and you set it off to the side and you're moving your hands around and you hit it, you're gonna burn the heck out of yourself. And don't forget, this is burning plastic, okay? So when you're gonna wood burn, you don't want the fumes going up your nose, so throw on a dust mask just to keep it from going up your nose, and it always helps, like I do, to have a fan off to the side which blows all the fumes out of the way. So be in a well-ventilated spot, make sure you've got a fan keeping the fumes out of your face, and here we go. Really start on the outside. We're gonna come through, keeping it at the same speed because you want the line to be the same weight. If you speed up or you slow down, the line weight will change because it's burning the foam. And when you get to the end, you want to back up real fast, and I'll show you how. Watch this. Get to the end, and then you back up real fast. That gives you a nice clean end right there. All right. Okay, now if you can see, we drew these little dots right here and right here. Okay, because that's going to be all the way through the piece. All right, look at that. Really cool. Really. Take your time. Don't fly by your hand at 100 miles an hour. We don't want to take a finger off in the middle of the building. Because like we said before, leaving the propping table to go to the emergency room is a stone drag. You don't want to do it. Take your time. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take an extra piece and do what we always do. We're going to do a test wrap. So we know. There we go, and we come around to right there, and then there, about 10 3/8. All right, so we're going to do that here. Now you also know what we do when we cut a wrap. Every time we cut a wrap, we talk about how when you make your cut, you don't want your knife to be straight, you want to slightly tip it so it has a bevel cut on both ends, and that helps it come together real nice on the other side. So we're going to slightly tip our knife just a little bit to get a little bit of a bevel. All right, very slightly just to get a slight bevel. Okay, there we go, we just have a slight bevel on both ends. So when it comes around to the other side, that helps you stick it together real nice. All right? Okay, there we go. There's our center mark right there. We need to center this line with this line. just like that. All right, so when we wrap it, we know that that's going to be right at the top in the center, like so. Wow, that is a new marker, all right. Good grief, you can see that from outer space. Love these things, love them. All right. Give it a few minutes. All right, here we go. It's go time. All right, let's make sure we get good contact right down here in the middle. Just like that. All right, now we're going to lay it down and we are going to roll it all the while, making sure that we're lining up our edges. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, yeah. All right, we're getting the edge done because they're going to come together and make contact. Okay, now we're going to try to line up all of our grooves just like that. Concentrating on our wood burn lines to line them all up. All right, now we're going to push this down in the middle to make contact, okay? And we're going to push our edge down all the way around. Same thing up here. All right, look at that. Good grief, is that cool? Holy cow. All right, now let's bring our handle pieces in, all right? Here we go. We've got an 18 millimeter piece, that's 3/4 of an inch for the handle. And we've got these 12 millimeter pieces, which are gonna be our sculpted hand grip right here. All right, so let's go ahead and take this over to our band saw and our scroll saw and knock these out. Never reach in to where the blade is. You always reach around the back, and you never push your hands toward the blade. You always have your hands outside the plane of the blade, okay? Beautiful. All right, now we're going to drill a hole through the trigger here so we can feed the blade through and cut the inside of our trigger out. All right, there we go. Check it out. Really easy. Scroll saw is the best. And if you've got some marks around the little edges on the inside, you can come in with your Dremel. Love this, man, love it. All right, now, next. Let's take our 12 millimeter pieces, and we don't need to cut these out on one of the tools. And the reason is because we are going to be rounding these off, so it doesn't have to be totally perfect. All right, so we're going to come in with our box cutter. Actually, let's leave this end, okay? What we're going to do is this. We're going to come in, and go right through our piece. We've got our knife standing straight up, so we can just pivot around our handle. All right, now there's our piece. Now it doesn't matter if these edges aren't perfect because we're going to be rounding it with the Dremel. All right, and we've left this for a reason. All right, now let's do this one next. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. We're going to round our two pieces off. Now we've got our dust mask on. All right, there we go. See that? We went from this squared off thing to this nice curved hand grip. Okay, now what we're gonna do also is see our line right here. Let's redraw our line. Right here and right here. So we've got from here to here. All right, that's where our line is. Okay, now we transferred it over to this side because we're going to come over here and we are going to
tip our knife on a big time angle. We're going to go right through like that. Okay, now what that gave us was this. That's what we want. We want it rounded, but then we want that angle at the front. Okay. All right, there we go. Check that out. Perfect. Now we're going to come in with our 220 sanding stick. And we're going to smooth the edge of this off a little bit. Beautiful. All right, now the 320, just to smooth it out even more. All right, there we go. Nice and smooth. All right, now let's take a break. Let's clean this mess up. Okay, now what we did is we took our skinny Dremel bit out, we put our wider one back in, and what we're going to do is we're going to make some rivet marks in the hand grip, all right, which is really easy stuff. All right, let's get our heat gun going. Let's seal this up. Wow. All right, there we go. Look at that. Nice and tight. Really cool details. All right, now what we're going to do before we stick those on, though, is we're going to go around this piece and we're going to just slightly round the edge. We don't want that super hard edge. All right, there we go. We're going to leave this edge hard, but we wanted these round. Make sure you've got the even amount of space around the whole grip. Eyeball it, squeeze it in, make sure we're centered right there. Perfect. Even amount of space all the way around. All right, now let's get good contact. All right, dig that. Wow. How's it feel? Oh, holy smokes, is that cool. And then this comes in right there. Look at that, man. That thing is shaping up. All right, there we go. Give it a minute. Line up with our Sharpie mark right there. And don't just drop it down. We're going to eyeball, make sure we are right where we need to be. Just like that. Wow. Heck yeah. All right, here we go. Now we've got these little pieces of foam that are going to go in here, here, and right here. All right, we've got a 4mm, a 10mm, a 6mm, and a 12mm. Really easy stuff. All right, we're going to come in and we are going to cut these out. Sweet, that is perfect. All right, now before we do that, let's go ahead and cut out our other pieces. Here's our trigger. Like so. Real easy stuff. We can clean that up a little bit with a Dremel. Okay, now these little pieces right here, we're going to use a brass tube for that. All right, that 10mm is going to be way too thick. We probably only need like a 6 for that. So let's do that. There we go. All right, what we're going to do is this. Okay, this is a really super tight spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to put super glue on the two sides. like this, and we're going to hurry up while it's still wet. Get it all smoothed around the two sides. Then we're going to come in here and we are going to spread that apart. We're going to bring it down in, get it positioned where we want it, wipe our squeeze out off, just like that. Right, that's why we use gloves. Look at that, we got super glue all over our gloves, and you do not want that stuff getting on your fingers. But check that out, there we go. Nice little piece right in there. It's got a little recessed little step down, very cool. Really nice. Look at that, we rounded it off, that's perfect. All right, here we go. We're gonna come in with a little bit of super glue for these. All right, there we go. That's what we wanted. Extra piece of foam like a squeegee. There we go. Extra foam squeegee just to get our squeeze out off of there. All right, perfect. Now we seal it. Let's see if we get it in there. All right, that's the way we do it. All right, we're gonna put some super glue down. There's a puddle. Just like that. Then we can come in here with our X-Acto knife and place it right where we want it, right in the center. Ooh, that's nice. All right, there we go. Jamming. All right, now what we did was we took two different sized brass tubes. You've seen us do this before. And we poked out a bunch of little rivets from 2mm and 3mm foam. All right. We're going to put it right here, just below that silver line near the edge, just like that. All right, there we go. We've got 4 rivets here. We've got 4 on this side, and the same thing over there. All right, there we go. Super easy. We've got this thing knocked out all the way from the back, all the way up to the front of the body. You saw us shape the hand grips. You saw us layer up this back body piece where it goes into the handle. You saw this super cool detail, how we built the square for the body, and then we did the 2 half-round dowels to get the round top and bottom, and then we wrapped it. You saw us wood burn. Super cool and super easy. So that concludes making an EVA foam NN14 Part 1. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.